Hello, all my little spiders. Welcome back to 8 Legs Silver. So happy to have you here. If you're new here, please make sure to hit that little bell icon and subscribe. It helps you get a notification when I have posted a new video, and so you can see all of my new content. You could give me a like if you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. So today we're going to be talking about something that's very special and a project that was very near and dear to my heart. I created an auction item for a Metalsmiths for Change auction that is coming up shortly, and I want to tell you a little bit about how I heard about Metalsmiths for Change. I'll tell you a little bit about what inspired me to make this piece, and then as well as talking a little bit about the piece itself. And I hope to also share the organizations with you that we will be donating to. So Metalsmiths for Change came about around the time that George Floyd was murdered. I noticed that there was a big outpouring of metalsmiths coming together and creating things to be auctioned off, creating really beautiful, intricate pieces of jewelry that were really well thought out and wonderfully made pieces. When I looked a little bit more into it, I found out that they were raising money for causes that were supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and really doing something to make positive change and impact in the Black community. I was incredibly moved. The first round of pieces that I saw were specifically to honor a Black life who had been lost to police brutality. So these pieces were incredibly emotional, moving, and beautiful. Since it was launched, and after reading a little bit more about the founder, Kendria Thompson, she started this as kind of like an overnight thing of like, I need to do something, I need to make an impact, we need to make change, and how can we do that through our metalsmithing art? So she did this overnight. It's incredible what this woman has done in this short time span. It like almost like brings me to tears just thinking about like how powerful what she's doing really is. I think to date they've raised $39,000, but that was before their last auction. So it's over 40 grand that they've raised in a very short amount of time, which is really a beautiful thing to accomplish, and it really shows that one person can impact so many people and make so much change on a really huge scale. I reached out to Kendria, I think in about July, because she had opened a call for all makers to come together for an auction and was looking for more artists. So the auction that I'm a part of, it's called the Calling All Makers auction, and so it will include both metalsmiths and then any other art form, any other piece of art that an artist wants to donate, they can do that. The Calling All Makers auction will start on Wednesday, August 19th at 10 a.m. and it will conclude on Saturday, August 23rd at 10 a.m. Those are all in Pacific Standard Time. So if you'd like to check out those auction pieces, make sure you go over and follow Metalsmiths for Change on Instagram so you can see all the new pieces that are going to be up for auction. There's some really beautiful pieces. One of the greatest things I really got out of this experience was being able to connect with artists that care enough to do this, because you do really have to care to put in the time, the effort, the money to donate a piece, to really think about and reflect on what's important to you and why you want to do this. So it was really beautiful to come together and meet some new silversmiths, meet some new makers that care about making a change. And our auction specifically is going to support 3 organizations. They're going to support the NAACP, the TGI Justice Project, as well as Outdoor Afro. If you don't know about these causes, I will tell you a little bit about each of them. So the NAACP was founded in 1909, in response to the ongoing violence against Black people around the country. The NAACP, or the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, is the largest and most preeminent civil rights organization in the nation. Their mission is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and ensure the health and well-being of all persons. I think most people know about the NAACP. They are a fantastic organization, so very happy they're included. We'll also be donating to the TGI Justice Project. The TGI Justice Project is a group of transgender, gender variant, and intersex people inside and outside of prisons, jails, and detention centers that are creating a united family in the struggle for survival and freedom. The TGI Justice Project helps low-income transgender women of color who are in need within the prison system. Also an incredible cause to support. And finally, the auction will also be supporting Outdoor Afro, which is one that's very special to me because it kind of speaks to the piece that I made. Outdoor Afro has become the nation's leading cutting-edge network that celebrates and inspires Black connections and leadership in nature. I found a story that really stopped me in my tracks when I was doing a lot of research about the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that was going on in the nation. And there was this one story that was very particularly moving to me. This woman, her name is Evelyn Adele. She shared her story about being a Girl Scout in Detroit. And she's in her 40s now. And during her childhood, she was a Girl Scout. She sold cookies and got badges and did all the things Girl Scouts do. And at a certain age, around like 12 or 13, I believe, she started to go on camping trips, and they would go camp. I believe it's in somewhere in Howell, Michigan is where they would camp. And her memories of this time were incredibly fond. Like, she just remembers like rolling out sleeping bags and giggling with her friends and looking through their badge books and just having good, innocent childhood fun. That when she looked back on this time, all of her memories were incredibly positive. That she learned how to treat nature well, how to leave no trace, how to respect Mother Earth, and doing so with a group of girls, and that it was just a really, really great time in her childhood. Well, Evelyn Adele is Black, and her Girl Scout troop was also mostly Black. In her adulthood, she reconnected with one of the camp counselors who was a friend of hers mother's, and they were just chatting, and they were talking about the camping trips that they used to take. And the woman who was the counselor said that, oh yeah, I remember we used to stay up and keep night watch. And she responded to this like, oh, did you stay up and watch for bears? And she said, no, the Klan. And she was like, the Klan? Like, yeah, the KKK. So there was a nearby KKK group, and these mothers would stay up in shifts at night to help protect their daughters. And they kept this from them during the time that they were doing this. That they worked in shifts, they communicated with each other to protect their daughters and make sure that they were able to have those innocent, wonderful childhood memories without being afraid. There was a good part in Evelyn's story where she asked, why did our mothers have to be afraid for us? And I wonder that too. Why do any mothers have to be afraid? So this story really spoke to me. It spoke to my heart. It made me sad to know that this is something that I never had to encounter as a white person, and it really opened my eyes that this is a big issue, and that the outdoors should be more inclusive for all. The outdoors have been incredible to my personal creativity, to my mental health, to my personhood. And if I didn't have nature, I wouldn't be the person I was today. So I think that giving more access to the Black community outdoors, in nature, in national parks, in the wilderness, will help the uprising, will help amplify the Black community and make them better, because that's what they deserve. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about the piece that I made to highlight this issue that's occurring in the Black community. So the piece that I made is supposed to be a protection prayer. I reached out to Kendria in about July, and she mentioned that she wanted to highlight an issue, and I knew instantly that was the issue I wanted to highlight. But I didn't know exactly how I wanted to go about doing it. I was trying to decide, like, how am I gonna highlight this issue? Like, it's something that's really close to me, and how can I communicate that in a beautiful way? And at first I didn't really have any ideas. I was kind of coming up short. I was mulling some things around in my head, but wasn't really like certain on anything. And oftentimes dreams are the source for my inspiration. So I experience hypnagogic imagery very often before I fall asleep. And what hypnagogic imagery is those images that you see right before you fall asleep. So one night as I was going to sleep, I was thinking about the auction, and this vision came in my mind of this swirl design. And I heard this prayer in my mind, Mother Moon, Father Sky, please protect Black lives outside. And I thought, wow, that has kind of a nice ring to it. It has a good message, and I think it really represents what I stand for, what I believe in. So I saw the design in my head, and I remember I woke up in the morning and I traced it out as soon as I got up. I think that dreams are a wonderful place to find inspiration, and I feel very blessed that it's a channel for me to receive creativity. So I knew what I was gonna make, but I never ever have made anything quite like this before. It was most definitely a challenge for me to create this piece. So it's interesting too, because being in the group of other makers, I think other people also challenge themselves. So it's really cool to be a part of a group where people were challenging themselves and stepping outside of their comfort zones in the making arena. So what I decided to do, and what was actually really helpful, was actually stamping it backwards. So I drew it out, and then I used my stamp collection to stamp it out on a piece of paper. And I realized, okay, this is gonna be easiest if I stamp this backwards. So I wrote it out, I lined out all my stamps, and I stamped the design backwards. So I stamped it like outside, Black lives. And so it's kind of weird stamping it backwards, but it made the process a lot easier than trying to make sure that everything would fit forwards. Each time that I would encounter something that was difficult in making this piece, I would stop and think to myself, Mother Moon, Father Sky, please protect Black lives outside. I would say it in my head or out loud before I started soldering or before I hit the hammer. The repetition of that is just so powerful, to have this beautiful protection prayer and to say it while you're creating. It was just really nice and comforting, and got me to the final piece. So there's that. What's really interesting I found about this protection prayer that came channeled to me was that the protection prayer is 9 words, and numerology is very important in my work. The number 9 represents a complete cycle, and I found this very fitting for this prayer. We need a complete cycle to happen in order for the old ways to end and the new ways to begin. So 9 is the perfect number to represent the end of an old era and the beginning of a new era where the Black community is going to flourish. And that's my hope for this piece, is that we step just a little, even if it's just one step closer to equality that we are making those changes and steps every single day. In addition to the numerology related to the prayer, the number of words in the prayer, I also wanted to create 9 celestial bodies to further represent that complete cycle. And so there are 5 full moons on the front of this pendant and 4 silver stamped suns. And it really is like stunning. It's like catching the light in a certain way. And I really do love this piece. It's quite a statement. It's one that will start a conversation, and hopefully a really powerful conversation. I really hope that the person who wears this can communicate why inclusivity in the outdoors is important, and that it brings them beauty and joy. The front of the piece has a piece of Pilot Mountain turquoise. It's a really nice, beautiful piece of turquoise. I got this from, I got a lot of turquoise from my friend, Dark Moon Silver. I'll link her below as well. She's fantastic. You should definitely go check her out as well. And then the back of the piece, I'll just flip it over while I'm talking about this. I tried to make this little like leaf design, because for some reason I kept hearing like also in my mind like plant a seed and watch her grow. And that's what I think that is important that we do during this movement of uprising, is that we plant seeds and watch them grow. Like that we don't expect everything to happen overnight, that we don't expect things to happen quickly, that we let things grow like the plants grow, like slow and steady. Everything in nature happens without rushing. And I think that it's important to keep this in mind with activism as well, that everything takes time, and with time there will be change. So the back of the pendant has 6 moons, because 6 represents the alchemically perfect number. So I wanted to put 6 moons on there. And then there's kind of like a little leaf pattern that says plant a seed, watch her grow. So, and it's stamped with my little maker's mark. She's really so stunning, and it's just catching the light so well. I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, learn a little bit more about my piece, about the organizations that we are raising money for, and learning more about Metalsmiths for Change. I will link everything below in the description box so you can go follow Metalsmiths for Change, all of the organizations that we're donating to, and let's make a change. Let's just make one change, even if it's just a small change. Do something positive that will create a better tomorrow. Let's build a more beautiful earth for us all to live on. We only have one planet, and we're all in this together. We're all here together. So it's really important to uplift Black lives right now. It's really important to care about what's happening and to be kind. Just be kind to one another. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Whew. This was an emotional video. There were times I had to stop because I started crying and I didn't want to cry on camera. If you have the means, please go check out the auctions on Metalsmiths for Change and place a bid. We want to raise as much money as possible for these great organizations and really make a step forward towards change. And even if you don't win an auction item, please consider making a donation to one of these great organizations, because they're doing great work for the Black community and helping uprise. That's what it's all about. Just lifting up. Let's just lift each other up. That's what we gotta do. Please let me know if you like this video. Leave a comment below. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. That stuff really helps me out. Until next time, be kind to one another. Everyone could use a little more kindness right now. And don't forget to vote. Register to vote and get your butt to the poll and vote, because that is how we're gonna make some change. Thank you, little spiders.